Hey, what are your thoughts on the power law?
Fuck me, mate. You really want to talk about
Yeah. I want to go there.
All right, let's go there. So, as far as the power law is concerned, I'm just trying to figure out like how, on what level of 0 to 10 angry should I get on this. So, the power law is basically this guy who drinks too many fucking espressos decided to figure out this idea of a power law, which basically has, stayed 99% accurate or whatever it is to the price movement of Bitcoin, and he's fudged the numbers to make sure that it stays that accurate for the past. Now, let's say, just for argument's sake, that it is 100% correct for the past of Bitcoin. What the fuck does that matter for the future of Bitcoin? And this is one of the things I keep saying to all of the people that are sucking on the teeth of power law. And that is, are you, just like Nassim Taleb, right? Just like Joe Kernan told Nassim Taleb, are you going to sell your position based on the power law? If you're not, shut the fuck up, because it's completely irrelevant. And the worst thing that I can imagine is people that are normal people that are listening to this, all the Twitter spaces, all the YouTube videos, or Bitcoin works on a power law, Bitcoin works on a power law, bullshit like that. They listen to this and they're actually going to end up selling their Bitcoin right before the hockey stick takes off, thinking that this fucking line is so important that it's going to come and mean revert to the line. This is complete and utter horseshit for anyone who understands the longevity of Bitcoin and anyone who's trading because of the power law. In fact, any of those people, they all shut the fuck up the moment I get on those Twitter spaces and turn around and say, are you trading it? Are you going to liquidate 50% of your position based on that power law and it going up too high? And they all start stuttering. And if you're not going to do it, what's the point of us talking about it? Because it's just mental masturbation. And the worst part about it is, like I said, you're going to cause people that are sitting there to look at that power law, think it's overextended. They got to worship the line and bend over and pray to the line. And then they're going to sell their position. And then their children are going to regret it. And their grandchildren are going to regret it because the hockey stick's going to take off. The power law, in my opinion, whether it's right or wrong, I'm not a math nerd like Espresso Man, but it is completely and utterly irrelevant to the longevity of a hodler's position. And that's what that's what infuriates me, because these people out here always talk about their models and this, that, and the other. And I find every model entertaining to look at. But would I sit there and go, this is it? No one from any previous cycle is doing that. Anyone that you see that's talking about the power law in this religious way is a new Bitcoiner, because we all understand that models come, models go. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work. And that's not what Bitcoin is about. Bitcoin is about holding and never, ever letting go. You know who understands that? BlackRock understands that. You know who understands that? Fidelity understands that. Now, they'll all start talking about these models because it's a good way to sell their clients that are used to looking at charts on the product. But do you think they're talking about power law after they've done that first transaction? They're talking about the scarcity of the asset. They're talking about the hardness of the asset. They're talking about the finality of the asset. That's what's important. Power law is completely and utterly irrelevant. And I want to see one of those people, just one, sell 50% of their position based on the power law and see what happens. And Sean, here's the crazy part. I actually took a second and actually asked the people, that the group of power law devotees that are, taking everyone on a power law jihad across the Bitcoin consciousness. I asked them, when does the power law get invalidated? You know what they fucking told me? They told me, I said, okay, I gave them an example. I said, okay, so you think it's going to go to 200,000, right? Firstly, that's no longer exponential growth. So you don't believe in the exponential nature of Bitcoin's adoption on money, right? Cool. First position where I think they're morons, right? First thing. Secondly, let's say you think it's going to go to 200,000 and then we're going to all have to bow down to the line and it's going to come back down and touch the line. Let's say it goes to 1 million and it doesn't touch the line for 10 years. It just shoots to 1 million and it takes 10 years for that line to catch up by the time it touches it. What does that invalidate the power law? And the answer I got back was no, that doesn't invalidate the power law. It's just retarded to me, right? It's so
Yeah.
stupid because it's completely and utterly useless. They have no metrics on what invalidates the model. Most importantly, again, I'll calm down now, but the most important thing is I do not want anyone listening to this drivel and BS fueled by someone who's jealous of Plan B and bringing out stock to flow to sit here, tell you that this is a model that firstly doesn't believe in the exponential nature of Bitcoin, and then tell you to trade something that if you do it, your children are going to regret it, your grandchildren are going to regret it if you get it wrong. Most people can't trade a normal chart, and you want them to trade a line that they don't understand. Is completely and utterly ridiculous to me. So those are my little opinions on power law. I hope that was clear.
Loud and clear. So that means we should be looking at the stock to flow then on that thesis.
Not necessarily. I think you should look at everything, right? I think you should look at everything. Certainly, I don't think that for most people that are, I distinguish between people who don't have one Bitcoin and people that have one Bitcoin, right? I think if you don't have one Bitcoin yet, your only objective should be to get to that one Bitcoin. I've been shouting this since last year. Get to that one Bitcoin. Anyone else after that, look, speculation is a right of the rich, right? As far as I'm concerned, speculation is the right of the rich. You've got to earn the right to speculate. If you want to, once you've got your one Bitcoin secured, speculate on anything after that, it's totally up to you. It's your money. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money. I just don't think people should, right?
Yeah.
So would I use something like stock to flow to give me a potential insight on the market, or to look at it and go, okay, that looks interesting? Sure. I'll do the same thing with power law. But I'm not sitting there going, I'm going to religiously, this is how it works, and I'm going to sell my Bitcoin because it's now overextended over power law, and I got to fucking bend over now and pay my respects to the line.